the previous video, we had studied on various characteristics of living organisms. In this video, we will study on how these organisms are named. There are around 1.7 to 1.8 million different organisms, that is plant and animal species. So they need to be identified, named, and then put into the categories where they belong to. So in this video, we will just study on how they are named, what are the various rules to name these organisms. The system of naming the organism is called nomenclature. And this was first developed by the scientist Carolus Linnaeus. He was the first one to start naming the organisms. His full name is Carolus von Linnaeus, but Carolus Linnaeus is just fine. So he developed a system of naming the organisms, and his system of naming the organisms is called binomial nomenclature. By the word binomial, you can understand that bi is two, nomial is name, and nomenclature is system of assigning names. So binomial nomenclature is a system of assigning two names to an organism. So there are different organizations that follow this binomial system of nomenclature. These are ICBN and ICZN. ICBN stands for International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. ICZN stands for International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. So they give names to different organisms, but belong basically following the binomial system of nomenclature. So let us start with the various rules and principles that they follow. So the first rule is that always two names are given to the particular species or a particular organism. The first name is the name of the genus, that is the generic name, whereas the second name is the name of the species. The generic name is always it starts with a capital letter, whereas the name of the species start with the lowercase, that is small letter. So that's the first rule. That is, two names are assigned to it. Two names, that is the binomial name. The first name is the generic name. Second name is the name of the species. Generic name always starts with a capital letter, whereas species name or the specific epithet starts in a lowercase. The next rule is that the language that is used to name these organisms is always in Latin. Now, why is Latin used? Because Latin is a dead language. Dead language means there is no modification, no change in the language. So whenever a name is assigned to an organism, it remains permanent, it does not change, and it is universally accepted. So that is why we use Latin. Third rule is when it is printed, when the name is printed, then it is always printed in italics. And if it is handwritten, then we write the name of the genus, species, and underline both. Now let's take some example to understand it. For example, for mango, the botanical name is Mangifera indica. Mangifera is the name of the genus. So I've started with the capital letter, underline it. Indica is the name of the species, started with small I, underlined. Mangifera is the name of the genus. Indica is the name of the species. Let's take another example. Homo sapiens. This is the zoological name of human beings. Homo is the generic name, starting with capital H. Sapiens is the name of the species, starting with small s. Let's take another example. Panthera Leo. Panthera is the name of the genus. Leo is the name of the species. P capital, L small. So you can see how these three examples we can understand how the binomial system of nomenclature works. Then there are some other rules which are not very specific. For example, the name of any organism should not be less than 2 letters or not more than 20 letters, because we don't want any name to be really small or very long. So that is another rule. Then the other thing is that sometimes along with the name, for example, Homo sapiens, Li is for species, and Lin, Linn, Lin, is the abbreviated form of the scientist, that is Linnaeus, who first gave the name Homo sapiens. So that is why it's written Homo sapiens Lin. But for every name, it has not been assigned. For few names, they write the name of the scientist who first identified and named the particular organism. So that is one more thing. Then let us do the next one, that is trinomial system of nomenclature. Now what is trinomial system of nomenclature? From the word we can understand that there are 3 names assigned to a particular organism. So we can take one example: gorilla, gorilla, gorilla. So the first gorilla is genus, the second is species, and the third is subspecies. Even for such organisms where the genus and the species name is similar, like gorilla, gorilla, then such names are also called tautonyms, where the name of the genus and the species is same. We can take one more example of trinomial system of nomenclature: Homo sapiens, sapiens. Homo is genus, sapiens is species, and this sapiens is subspecies. So let's revise what we have done. So this is the next topic of the living world, nomenclature. Nomenclature means naming an organism. It was first given by Carolus von Linnaeus, and his system of naming the organisms is called binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature is system of assigning 2 names to an organism. The 2 organizations who follow these rules are ICBN and ICZN, that is International Code for Botanical Nomenclature and International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. There are certain principles laid by these organizations who follow the Carolus von Linnaeus principles of binomial nomenclature. The first rule is that 2 names are assigned to every organism. The first name is the generic name, second name is the name of the species. Generic always starts with capital letter, species name starts with a lowercase. The names are always in Latin. If they are printed, they are in italics. If they are handwritten, then they are underlined, like Mangifera indica, Homo sapiens, Panthera leo. Sometimes the name of the scientist is also written along with the name Homo sapiens Lin, which is the abbreviated name of Linnaeus. So when the name of a scientist is written, it means he was the first scientist who identified and named the organism. Then next is the trinomial system of nomenclature, which is not very common. Every organism has not been named in the trinomial system of nomenclature. For example, gorilla, 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 where the name of the subspecies is also written. Homo sapiens, sapiens. Tautonym is the term used when the name of the genus and species is similar, like gorilla, gorilla. So I hope you have understood the binomial and the trinomial system of nomenclature. In the next video, we will study on classification, taxonomy, and various taxonomic characteristics and taxonomic categories. Thank you.